Hi guys, welcome to A Black. My name is Goodness. In today's video, I'll be showing us how to make a short with an elastic band. If this is something you're interested in, then stick with me to the end of the video. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
I'll start by taking my measurements. So I'd measure the round waist and the round hip at the fullest part, and the length from the waist and the lap. So this is my thigh measurements. For the crotch length, I would tie a rope around my waist and then sit on a flat surface. For my waist, I would measure to the flat of the chair. These are the materials I would be using. I have 1 yard of the fabric. I'll be using this 1/2 inch elastic for the waistband, and then I have my rulers. So now to pattern drafting. I'll start by drafting the front pattern. I'll draw my border lines. This will be my waistline and this will be my side front. Next, I would apply 1/4 of the hip measurement. So the round hip is 40.5 divided by 4, that is 10.1. So I would mark that and draw a vertical line from top to bottom. Next, I would start imputing my vertical measurement. So first I would put in my hip length. So the hip length is 8 inches. I'd mark that and then draw a horizontal line across. Next, I would mark my crotch length, which is 10.5, and then I'll draw a horizontal line across. I'd mark the full length of the short, which is 15 inches, and draw a horizontal line across. To get the thigh line, I would mark 2 inches below the crotch length and then draw a horizontal line across. So these are the lines I'll be working with: the hip length, the crotch length, the thigh line, and the full length. Now for the crotch extension, we'll be dividing the hip measurement by 16. So for this measurement, I have 2.5, so I'll mark that and extend my line to meet the measurement. So next, I'm going to get the midpoint of this crotch line. First, I would measure the length of the crotch line and divide it by 2 to mark the midpoint. And then I would apply that same measurement at the full length and draw a straight line from the crotch length to the full length. At the intersection, I'll draw a straight line at a 45-degree angle, and then I would measure 1 inch at that line. So this is just to draw the curve, and then I'm going to connect from the 2.5 inch crotch extension to the 1 inch and to the hip line. So this is how I create the crotch curve. I tried to move my curve around to see if it would accommodate drawing the curve at a go, but that wasn't successful, so I had to do it one at a time. You can also use your free hand. Just ensure that the hip line touches the 1 inch and touches the crotch extension line. Next, I would apply my thigh measurement divided by 2 on the thigh line. So the thigh measurement is 24. So divided by 2, that's 12. So I'll be putting 6 on one side and 6 on the other side of the line. And then I would apply the same measurement on the full length. Next, I would connect the lines together. So I'll connect the thigh line to the full length, then I'll connect from the crotch line to the thigh line. I would use a straight line on the side front, but when I get to the crotch area, I'll just turn it and use a slight curve to connect from the crotch line to the thigh line. Because I'm going to be using an elastic band to finish this up, I wouldn't be applying the waist measurement. So the waist measurement will be the same as the hip measurement so that it can pass easily through my hip. So that's it for the front pattern. I'll just go ahead and cut out my pattern. Next, I'll place my front pattern on a fresh pattern paper to draft the back pattern. So the first thing I'm going to do is to extend the lines, the horizontal line, so the thigh line, the crotch line, the hip line, the full length, and the waistline onto the fresh paper. I will extend the back crotch by 2 inches, so that's 2 inches wider than the front crotch. And then I'll go to the waistline and go in by 2 inches for the back. And then I'll go up by 1 inch. So this measurement you go up by goes from 1 to 2 inches depending on how big the butt of the person you're sewing for is. Next, I'll connect the 1 inch to the waist with a straight line. Next, I'm going to add back the 2 inches I went in by at the waist at the other side. So at the side back, I'm going to add back the 2 inches I went in by at the center back. So I would connect that 2 inches at the side to the 1 inch I went up by with my ruler. Now these 2 inches I've added, I'm going to split it on the sides 1 inch on both sides of the back. On the side back, I'll measure 1 inch on the tie line, 1 inch on the full length, and 1 inch on the crotch length. And then on the center back, I'll measure 1 inch on the full length and 1 inch on the tie line. Next, I'll connect the 1 inch at the crotch length to the waist length, the 2 inches at the waist length. I know the pattern for the back doesn't look straight. This is because we're using the same measurement at the hip for the waist. By the time you insert the elastic, it brings it back to the normal shape that it should be. So I'll connect the lines for the center back as well. From the crotch to the tie, I would use a curve to connect it. You can use your free hand to do this, or you can use your pattern master if it allows you draw a curve, like it connects the point. So I just use my free hand to blend that sharp corner so it gives me a smooth curve. Next, I will extend that intersection point on the front to the back pattern. So I'll measure it, and for the back pattern it's going to be 2 inches. I'll measure the 2 inches and mark it, and then I'll connect from the crotch to the 2 inch to the waist. I'll go ahead and remove the front pattern and complete the lines for the back pattern. And then I will cut out the back pattern and transfer both patterns to fabric. So I've transferred to fabric. On the sides I left 1/2 inch allowance. At the bottom I have 2.5 for folding the hem, and at the top I have 1.5 for the casing for the elastic, and then the same for the front pattern. So I have 1/2 inch allowance at the sides, and then at the top I have 1.5 inches, and at the bottom I have 2.5 inches. For your bottom allowance, this is as wide as you want your folding to be. If you want it wider, then you can add more allowance. Now to sewing, the first thing I'm going to do is to sew along the crotch curve, but I'll stop 1 inch to the end, and I'll do that for the back as well. I'll sew along the crotch curve and stop 1 inch to the end. Next, I will open the front and back and place them right side to right side and join them together by the sides. So I'm going to sew with 1/2 inch sewing allowance on both sides. Next, I'll go and couple the insides of the pants. So I'll attach side to side of the front and back, and then I'll sew from the bottom all the way to the top, and I'll do that for both. Next, I will go and sew the 1 inch gap I left initially at the front and back crotch curve. So it is where I seal it. So I'll open the seams and then sew it straight from the front to the back. Now what's left is to hem the bottom and the top. So I'm going to use the iron to fold before I take it to the sewing machine. So for the top, I will iron 1.5 inch. The 1.5 inch I left for the casing. I would iron it all round. After I've ironed it round, I'll come back and iron half of that. That's 3/4 all round. So I'll take it to the sewing machine and sew straight on the edge. I'll leave a little room of 1 inch to pass the elastic through. So I've passed my elastic band through the casing. You can either do this using a safety pin. So you attach a safety pin to one end of the elastic band and pass it through the casing till it comes out at the other end, or you do this while you're sewing. So now I'm going to pull the elastic. I'm pulling it to the waist size, but I'm also ensuring that whatever I pull it to can pass through my hip. After I've pulled the elastic band to the waist measurement, I'll pin it together and stretch it to ensure that it gets up to 40, which will pass the hip. So if it doesn't get up to 40, I'll stretch it some more so that it easily passes the hip measurement. So once I'm satisfied with the measurements, I'll take it to the sewing machine and sew the elastic together, both ends together, and then I will sew that 1 inch I left open to pass the elastic through. I'll sew that closed. Now for the bottom of the short, sometimes when you sew trousers, the ends become uneven. So before I fold the trousers, I'll take center front and center back and fold it. This is how you fold trousers when you want to iron. So that kind of iron that has middle gaiter lines. So I fold it this way to fold the ends, and then I fold the ends. That 2.5 inches I left initially, I'll fold it, but I'm ensuring that both legs of the trousers are equal. If you fold the ends of your trousers the other way, like flat, instead of folding it this way to get the ends, the bottom of your trousers may end up being uneven. So you have to fold it this way, center to center, like you want to iron a trousers before you fold the bottom, to make sure that both ends are even. So I'll just go ahead and fold my allowance. I want my shorts to have a nice folded hem look. After I folded and iron, I'll turn it to the wrong side. And then I will fold it the same measurement I used to fold the first layer. So I'll fold it again and iron it. Ensure that the first layer and the second layer meet at that point. So ensure that it goes into that point, because we're going to sew it, and if it doesn't go into that point, by the time you're sewing it, some parts will be hanging loose because it wasn't cinched properly into that point. After ironing both legs of the trousers and ensuring that they are at the right places they should be, I will take it to the sewing machine and sew 1/2 inch on that point all round for both legs of the trousers. So this is what I meant. If the layers wasn't properly laid, we would have had some areas hanging loose, not properly sewn in as it looks this way. So the next thing I'm going to do is to give it a good press. So I'm going to press it opened and press the 1/2 inch, and this is the final look. I hope this video has been helpful and easy to follow. If you have any questions, just drop in the comment section and I'll be happy to provide any details that you require. If you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post a new video. And also don't forget to give the video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in my next one.